Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Yo Joe Outlet, your only source for G.I. Joe weapons and vehicle accessories. Don't have that incomplete Joe any longer. Connect with Yo Joe Outlet Center and complete that figure for an awesome price. Go check them out on eBay at Yo Joe Outlet Center and Facebook Yo Joe Outlet. Guys, you know I love a good horror movie. And what is the point of a horror movie? It's to scare you. The Fear Footage Part 1 and Part 2 accomplished that exactly. It scared me. It made me jump. And I'm not embarrassed to say, it made me shriek a few times, just like a little child. Guys, go check out thefearfootage.com. If you like found footage movies, forget that. If you like horror movies in general, if you like to be scared, if you like to pull the blanket up over your eyes, go check out The Fear Footage 1 and 2. Order it directly from thefearfootage.com. Blu-rays on sale, or go check them out on Amazon, The Fear Footage. Good day, friends, fans, followers of the New 80s Revolution. We are down here, as always, in the land of quarantine, to talk about some LJN figures. That's right, we're wrapping it up. We are wrapping it up. Revisiting the LJN Review Part 2. LJN Review Remastered is almost done. But we won't stop there. We're going to revisit all of the wrestling figures that we talked about in the early stages of this channel. We are up to Series 5, Part 2, 1988. We will wrap these figures up, and then we will move on to the much sought after, the much priced Black Card series, the final series, the year that we could say ended my childhood, 1989, the end of the LJN era. But first, I want to talk about a few things, as I always do. If you are new to this channel and just came here for the LJN figures, I'm going to talk about, nonsense for about 5 or 6 minutes. Skip ahead. Don't leave me a stupid comment that says, hurry up and get to the LJN reviews. Because I've just about had it with social media. So that's kind of a segue into my rant here. Prior to this YouTube channel, I did not have a Facebook account. I didn't know what Instagram even was. I don't know what you did on it. And if you follow my Instagram account, you realize that I don't post anything. I go on there to look at pictures of toys. I still don't know what a Twitter account is. I mean, I do, but I don't care. So I was never into that. I never had any of that stuff. In fact, I only purchased a smartphone, and before I got into the iPhone, really for business purposes, and now it's morphed into, what everybody else uses it for, and I've fallen into that trap. But anyway, before I needed or wanted an iPhone for work or a smartphone, I had a flip phone. And before that, I had no phone. And so, I only have had a smartphone for about 3 years, 4 years maybe. And it was really, it really got started for work. Before I went out on my own, I was doing this online counseling thing with this horrible company. And they required, an iPhone and so I only got it for work. Anyway, the point is, I might be getting off of the Facebook. And every time, I just realize why I hate it so much, especially in today's day with the ongoing pandemic, and even prior to that, just political nonsense and two extremely opposite opinions that think they're right. And how can two opinions be 100% correct? It's just so bad. I am not a political guy. I hate Republicans. I hate Democrats. I just hate politics. I hate discussions about whether or not God exists. I hate discussions about whether or not you should have an abortion. I just despise it. And, I think probably deep down subconsciously, this is one of the reasons why I've created this, safe haven down here. And this safe haven down here was up here too for the longest time. And then, then the smartphone came into my life, and then the Facebook account came into my life. And really the Facebook account was for the channel. That was it. That was the only reason why I started a Facebook account, was for the channel. But, I'll go on my local news Facebook page, and, I'll just read so many ridiculous comments about Corona and social distancing and wearing a mask versus not wearing a mask, and our governor in particular, Andrew Cuomo and Trump, and just such ridiculous opinions from both viewpoints. I don't care about either viewpoint. But for me, it kind of came to a head the other night. I joined, and look, I've joined some Facebook groups over the couple of years. Mostly, LJN, custom groups. I joined a G.I. Joe group. I joined, like an 80s toys group. I joined a Western New York toy collectors group. And some of you who watch the channel invited me to your group, and I've joined your group. And if you notice, I've since unjoined your groups. Nothing that you've done, but I've just had enough of tough guy images, tough guy personas on Facebook. I've just reached the end of it. Groups that'll argue if an 80s toy group is going to assault you if you post a picture of a 90s toy I've seen on there, and they just attack the poor person, and, can't you read the rules? This is an 80s group. And I'm like, good God, man, come on. You guys are ridiculous. And I've been warned about Facebook groups, but I went along with it and played along. But the other night I joined I want to get some Friday the 13th VHS tapes. I want the whole run of Friday the 13th on VHS. I just think they're glorious looking. I love them. They're beautiful. And so I joined a VHS group, and one day, 20 minutes after getting accepted into the group, which is nonsense, I put up a post that said, hey, I'm looking for Friday the 13th VHS tapes. And by the way, I have a YouTube channel if anybody's interested. New 80s Revolution, go check me out. I'm not pimping the channel. I'm not, I make $107 every 4 months on this channel, sometimes every 5 months. I'm not, come on. I'm just putting it up there so maybe somebody was like, oh, hey, I know who you are, or, oh, I want to check that out. 5 minutes after putting that up, I get some idiot, and I can't even remember his name, writes, oh, great, somebody else pushing their YouTube crap. I was like, God, I became enraged. And I edited it and said, okay, I'll get rid of it. And then, said he was a dick, because he is. He's being a dick. And then, of course, we go back and forth on private message of who's going to kick whose ass. And I've just decided that this is why I hate Facebook. This is why I hate social media. This is why I hate this generation. This is why I'm sheltering my children from this generation. It's because of the garbage that is out there on the internet and the attitudes that people have. The stuff that people say to you online, 99.9% they would never say to you in person. This Facebook is an opportunity to be tough and have a different persona. And so I just hate it. I just hate it. I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to get out of it. So if I do end up shutting down the Facebook, you guys communicate with me through the channel, through the YouTube channel. Any stupid comment that anybody leaves on the channel is immediately deleted and they're blocked, because that is nothing like that is poisoning my channel. I can't delete the thumbs down from people, but you know, if you leave a stupid comment, it's deleted. Nobody's going to read it. So don't waste your time, because I'll see it immediately. It'll pop up on my phone and I'll get rid of it immediately. So anyway, that's just my wake up on the wrong side of the bed rant on Facebook and social media. It could go away. And if it does go away, if I do disappear off your Facebook, please continue to reach out through the channel. Many of you contact me through Messenger. That will stay, I think. I don't know how it works. If you get rid of Facebook, do you get rid of Messenger? I don't know. But I'll still be on Messenger. Some of you have my cell phone number. Please continue to text me that way. And if I do put out if I do goodbye Facebook, I will, I'll leave some contact information. I'll leave my email address, and we can communicate that way. The channel's not going anywhere yet. I haven't been too upset or too discouraged with people through the YouTube channel. In fact, quite the opposite. So that's not going anywhere anytime soon. But the Facebook is garbage, and the political stuff is garbage, and the we should wear a mask versus we shouldn't wear a mask is garbage, and Donald Trump is ruining our world is garbage, and Donald Trump is saving our world is garbage, and it's all garbage. It's all garbage, So I gotta get away from it. So I'm probably gonna get away from it. Okay. Let's do LJNs. Yeah, I don't care. So people are texting me already, Let's do LJNs. Let's go back to what makes us happy, right? Bit of news for you guys. Walmart, check your Walmart. They are selling full-size 24 by 36 vintage posters. They've got some Friday the 13th posters. They've got some Nightmare on Elm Street posters. They've got Ghostbusters. They've got Gremlins and tons of Star Wars posters. A whole slew of stuff. Go check out your Walmarts if you are poster collectors, and I love a good poster. Got my kids a couple Star Wars posters today and grabbed a Friday the 13th poster, and got to figure out where I'm going to put it, but yeah, posters. Okay, Series 5 LJN. Now, for the people who have just joined the channel or just watching for LJNs and you had to sit through all of that, don't leave a stupid comment. I'll delete it. I gave you fair warning. Skip ahead, and here we are. So let's get back into the LJNs. Series 5, the end of Series 5 here. I have a few more figures to show you. It's kind of weird, because most of these figures, all but 2 of these figures, do not have the paint problem that Series 5 is plagued by. And if you recall, in part 1 of this, of Series 5, I talked about the strange undercoating color that they went with. Instead of flesh, they went with either black or blue or gray in this case. And it ruins the figure, because LJNs, you will lose paint, and underneath that paint is a very dark, strange color, and just kind of ruins the figure. But strangely, most of the figures that I'm going to show you don't have that problem. And I'm looking at some dates on these figures. And they're all in '88, so it wasn't like they short, you know, oh, that's '87. So let's do the '87 Series 5 figures first that do not have the paint problem because they weren't made in '88. For the first time in the line, very late in the line, we get referee figures. And not only one, but two referee figures. A blue shirt ref and a white shirt ref. A lot of people say this is Dave Hebner or Earl Hebner. I don't think so at all. I don't think it's patterned after anybody. I think it's just generic face. It's a little bit too young looking for a Hebner. And again, that's a great question to ask the former LJN employee. You know, who's the motivation, who's the inspiration behind the referee figures? You know, I could see it maybe being a tweak of Shane McMahon a little bit. You know, it's not Joey Morella. It doesn't look like, you know, it's not a Hebner. It's just, you know, plain face Acme style referee. And two tremendous figures, two great figures. I don't know if one is more pricey or rare than the other. I haven't bought these in a long time. They shouldn't be. Very, very, you know, great additions to the line, but figures that I never had as a kid and figures that I would never have played with if I did have them as a kid, because I cannot control three, you know, I don't have three hands, you know, so I don't know who was playing with a referee figure as they were having their matches. I certainly never would have. So even if they did, you know, come out in my childhood, prime playing years, I would have not been interested in the referee. Probably would have had him, probably would have owned him, but I would not have used the referee. Except maybe for like a major angle. I don't know. You can do the twin referee gimmick here. That would work with the dual refs. That would be awesome, actually, as a kid. If a kid came up with that prior to the WWF coming up with it, I think that would have been awesome. But great figures. The two LJN referees. Another figure that does not suffer the paint fiasco is manager Johnny V. One of my least favorite managers in the WWF at the time. Managed the Dream Team and I don't even know, some other people. I got to go back and look, but never a big fan of Johnny V. Never really liked him as a manager. And this is one of the last figures I got under the Christmas tree. This is I actually got him the year after the Heart Foundation and guys like that. I don't know how my mom found him or what, but you know, I don't know if she grabbed him in a store. I don't know if she ordered him on her own, but this was the lone figure underneath the Christmas tree in honestly, I want to say 89, which is strange because I don't know, maybe not. Maybe 88 or 89. This was the one and only figure that was under the tree, which is strange because I also had Big Boss Man and I had Haku from the Black Card series. So when did I get them? Maybe that was a birthday present in 89. I don't know. I'm going to say that this was the final figure under my tree in 88. Johnny V. The last LJN figure I got for Christmas. Great tag team set. The set was sold as a 2-pack and on single card. The single cards are actually less expensive than the tag team set, which is the opposite for most of the other tag teams. You can get these figures on single card much, much cheaper than you can in the 2-pack. One was just a repaint, and in fact, I just think it's so cool when they're stamped 1986 and they come out in 88 or 89. You know, I don't know. That just means that like LJN had like this gigantic bin of 1986 Tito Santana figures and just repainted them. I just love that. I just wish that I could have gone back in time and just watched the production of these figures. But this was a great tag team back in 88 and 89, the Strikeforce, Rick Martel, and Tito Santana. And Tito Santana is just your basic repaint with the lightning bolts and the white added. This is just your 1986 Tito Santana figure. Rick Martel is brand new and has the Strikeforce outfit. Rick Martel's a great figure. I actually love this figure. Never had him as a kid, so I never I never created anything with Rick Martel. I never maybe brought some of his AWA World Champion persona into the WWF LJN Federation as a kid. I never had him. Today, I might have pushed Rick Martel a little bit. I wouldn't have done the model heel gimmick. I think I would have made Rick Martel maybe a Bret Hart, Randy Savage kind of caliber wrestler with possible world title run. I don't know. So if I did bust out the LJNs in the future, Rick Martel might get a surprising run. Strikeforce was a great tag team, like I said. Never had him as a kid, so never don't have any childhood stories of Strikeforce, Rick Martel, and Tito Santana. Now, the two figures that do have the curse, and figures that I did have as a kid, the first one was part of that clearance batch that I told you about at Toys R Us, where I got Ken Patera and One Man Gang and Billy Jack Haynes and the Slickster. Got the Slickster for $4.99 one random afternoon in Toys R Us in about 88 or 89. Just going there looking for something completely separate. Found this. The Slickster. Again, he's got the gray undercoating, which just ruins the figure completely. Now, I don't think Slick should have a lot of paint loss. You don't unless you give him an occasional swat as referee interfering in a match. But I don't know why the Slickster would have paint loss on his hands and on his tie. So wherever I got this from back in the day, whoever I got it from was pretty rough with their Slick figure. Slick has his removable hat. Great figure. Not a big Slickster fan. This was an era of WWF that I was kind of starting to fade out of, and I was watching a lot more NWA at the time because WWF was really, really cartoony and really cheesy. Of course, Slick is the manager of, the African Dream Akeem, which is one of the best / worst gimmicks of all time. And he was this over-the-top, jive, talking pimp sort of character. I don't know. Anyway, the Slickster, the Doctor of Style. Jive Soul Bro is still one of my favorite wrestling songs of all time. Slick. And now just a figure that could have been one of the best figures, a figure that could have been a world champion in any LJN league, a figure that needed wrestling gear so badly. You take a top performing wrestler, one of the best wrestlers, technical wrestlers of the time. And yes, he's got this incredible $1 Million Man gimmick, but the figure is so disappointing because he's fully suited in his money suit. Tremendous looking figure. But what? I mean, come on. Even as a kid, I was like, I've got to play with him in his suit. But not only that, he's got the biggest wad of money I've ever seen. Like, if this was in scale to humans, this money would be like 12 inches long. Just this huge, these oversized, ridiculously large dollar bills hanging out of his hand. And I'm really surprised that as a kid I didn't try to cut these out or slice them out of his hand. But believe it or not, Ted DiBiase actually got a ton of play in my federation. I did have him in 88. I did get Ted DiBiase in 88, and I did use the heck out of him because he was such a relevant character in the WWF at this time. So despite the suit, little imaginative me, despite the, hunk of bills in his hand, little creative me could work some magic with Ted DiBiase. Just for display purposes, I slapped the Jack's Classic Superstar belt on him. It doesn't go all the way around, but the plastic kind of sits against the rubber and sits still. So it looks kind of cool. Like I said, it doesn't go all the way around, but on my shelf, looks good, right? That's my first custom. Isn't that pretty good? Put a belt on him. Customizer. Anyway, that is the end of the 1988 Series 5. Like I said, our next episode will talk exclusively about the entire 89 line. We can do it in one show. And we'll talk about the ending and what it meant to me. And, I looking back, I don't remember, any kind of overwhelming depression or anything. But there was a period of time when there were no wrestling figures. There were none. 89 came and went, and then Hasbro started in mid-90s. So, there was a period of time when what was the future of wrestling figures? You didn't know. You didn't know. So that's that. Again, sorry about the social media rant in the beginning. But, that's how I feel. We'll be back with the Black Card series soon. Good night now.